Hey, what's up? What's up? What's up, guys? Merry Christmas to you. I'm not Santa, so I'm not going to attempt to do the ho piece. But guys, I'm just so excited and I'm glad to be able to bring you a special Christmas edition of XY Spark. We do hope that for those of us who have been able to connect at home with our families and enjoy this quality time, I just want to say I hope that you had a great one wherever you are around the world, and whatever it is that you say as it relates to the holiday time. I want to say happy holidays, Merry Christmas. I want to I say Feliz Navidad, to those who are maybe Spanish speaking. And of course, I'll make my attempt at French, which would probably be Joyce Noel, Joy Noel or Joyce Noel, and please forgive me, those who are French speaking, if I crucified the language a bit. I'm just trying, guys. So be patient with me. I'm working on it. I'm working on it. And for those of us who you might have not been able to connect with family for this Christmas time. You may be spending it alone. You may be there in that space where you weren't able to connect. But I'm hoping that if you weren't able to be there in person, you did use what's at your disposal. Do it virtually. Call somebody, text somebody, use FaceTime, use WhatsApp, use Facebook Messenger. You know, um, there's so many things that you could do, that I would say, if you haven't done it yet, the night is still young. Why not do it now, guys? So again, from XY Spark, merry Christmas to you, and we hope that you'll have a fantastic rest of the holiday as we prepare to move over into the new year. Isn't it exciting that we're hearing now more that the Alberta Health Services and other governments around the world are starting to bring in vaccines. We know in Canada, for example, they have approved the Moderna vaccine. So I want to send a shout out to those chemists who have created the vaccine. And we're hoping that it will bring the results that we're expecting as we move forward and try to become more immune to this COVID-19 virus that has been wreaking havoc in our lives now for the past 9 months and counting. And so, guys, welcome to this special edition of XY Spark. And don't go away, because we have another wonderful discussion that we have planned out for you. So, guys, please stay tuned.
Grief and loss, trauma, mental health, alcohol and drug use, gender roles, anger management, self esteem, sexual abuse, domestic violence, and the pressures of societal norms are real life issues that affect men. Join Rolando, psychotherapist, author, life coach, and motivational speaker that has dedicated his profession to working with men to find a healthier alternative to cope and handle these stressors. Rolando believes that men are lacking in social, psychological, emotional, and spiritual support that is necessary for a lifestyle that promotes healthy masculinity. We invite you to join us on XY Spark, where we discuss issues that men face. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.
Thank you for staying here with us in XY Spark. Guys, I want to tell you, going to share my own story with you for this Christmas season. Do you know, it just so happened that social media does have its benefits, and I've been privileged enough throughout this holiday period to have reconnected with two of my brothers from another mother. Two of my brothers, and believe it or not, they have even started to listen to XY Spark. So I want to send a shout out to my two brothers. I'm talking about Tony. You know yourself, Tony, wherever you are, and also Alvin. And you know yourself wherever you are around the world. I really want to send a shout out to my brothers, because this holiday period has been very rewarding and exciting for me, just to reconnect with those brothers and to know that they are doing well, their families are doing well. And that for me was a thing that really, I think, was that huge piece for me this holiday, to be able to reconnect with these brothers of mine after over 2 decades, guys. Believe it or not, it's been more than 20 years since I've connected with these guys, and we reconnected, and we were talking and we laughed, and it was just great. So Tony, Alvin, God's this man, XY Spark, want to send a special shout out to you guys. Want you guys to know that, man, I love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate how you have been present in my life back in those earlier days when I was just finding myself. And just to know that you guys are doing great, that's fantastic. So this afternoon, I want to take some time to just talk with you a little bit more about how important it is for us to understanding our needs, and the value of understanding those needs. And we really want to continue to talk a little bit more and dig a little deeper into the needs wheel, and we're looking some more at the higher needs. And I want to also acknowledge and give credit to the creators of this beautiful instrument that I've been using with you guys over the past couple of presentations. Okay, I really want to continue to send a shout out to, of course, Marshall Rosenberg. Okay, Dr. Marshall Rosenberg. Want to continue to send a shout out to you, Doc, and thank you so much for this wonderful tool that you have created. And indeed, I can see that it was well thought out, and I really value the work that other persons who are in a similar field as myself to really sit down and put together these beautiful transformative tools. So we want to continue to talk some more about the needs wheel. And remember, the last time we spoke, we talked about transcendence, and we mentioned some things in transcendence that for those who might have missed it, remember we talked about things like presence and inspiration in evolution and all those pieces. We want to build on that some more by talking about the whole some more nuggets that comes under the higher needs portion as it relates to having proper well-being. And one of those pieces that comes under the higher needs has to do with meaning. We want to evaluate and ask ourselves, does my life have meaning? Am I really doing the things that I do to see and note that, hey, there is some meaning to my life? My life is not just stagnant. My life is not just on a standstill. There's meaning. There are people in my life that helps my life to have meaning. There are things that I'm doing with my life that helps my life to have meaning. And so you want to make some effort to sit and evaluate, okay, does my life have meaning, and what is that? Then we want to ask ourselves this as it relates to higher needs. Is my life purpose? What is my purpose? Do I have a purpose? And if my life has a purpose, what is it? Someone may ask you if your life has purpose, and you may say, sure. But if they follow through and say, okay, what's that purpose say? What's your purpose? If we can't answer that question, then we want to go back and take some time and find a quiet space and really check in and ask, okay, well, what really is my purpose? For some of us, our purpose is, hey, listen, man, my purpose is to provide for my family and provide for my wife and make sure that everybody around me is happy. Okay, great. What other purpose do you serve? Can you identify an individual purpose? Can you identify something that's personal and more what I called grounded? Because let's say worst case scenario, those persons are no longer in your life. What would be your purpose? So you want to identify an individual purpose for your life as we talk about higher needs. The next thing that we want to talk about as related to higher needs is the nugget of fulfillment. What gives you fulfillment in life? What makes you feel fulfilled? What what's that thing that empowers you and gives you that drive so you know that, hey, I am being fulfilled? Am I spiritually and socially and emotionally and psychologically grounded? Does my life have the fulfillment that it should have? We then want to, as it relates to higher needs, we want to look at, is there space for celebration? Sometimes I like to talk about the analogy. When we were in school, or for those of us who are still in school, sometimes or most times you notice that you have small tests that lead up to the final examination. And each small test that you do, when you get a mark, you celebrate it like, yes, I'm getting it, I'm learning it, it feels good. So does your life and the arm or the limb of your life, or let's say the facet of your life that depends on celebration to thrive, do you practice celebration? Are you celebrating? Are you celebrating small successes and owning them and recognizing how valuable that is for meeting your personal goals and getting to higher needs? Then we want to recognize that sometimes in our higher needs we want to look for times when we are actually celebrating completion. So are we completing things? Are we getting things done? Okay, are we growing? Or are we just at the same space or the same place? So we want to look at that place of completion. Am I getting things finished? Am I starting something and then finishing it, or am I not doing it? So there's got to be that place for completion. And then another higher needs nugget that we want to pay attention to is there harmony and and beauty? Harmony and beauty. And am I doing that? Am I taking the initiative to recognize that there needs to be some harmony and some beauty from within me? Now listen guys, don't misinterpret this word beauty and think, hey, what are you talking about? What beauty are you talking about? I'm talking about the beauty as it relates to your mindset, your outlook, your awareness. How are you practicing that? So it's understanding that there needs to be harmony where you're at peace with yourself and there's beauty. You have a clean heart. You have good intent. You're not holding grudges. You're not continuing to be angry and puffed up and stay in ignorance. So that's beauty that we're talking about. And then we want to capture this other nugget under our higher needs, which is the nugget of peace. Are you and am I living in peace? Am I at peace? Do I have restless sleep at night, or do I have a peaceful sleep? Do I walk out each day and I'm at peace, I'm at ease, or am I so consumed with worry that to find peace is challenging? Am I at peace in my home with my partner and my kids? Am I at peace with my siblings? Am I at peace with my co-workers or my associates? Am I at peace? Do I have that peace within? And so we want to capture and look if we have peace. And then there's another thing that comes under the higher needs triangle, and it says a spiritual life of some kind. And I find that more and more persons now they're running away from this, but I'm going to tell you, it's important for you to seek to find your niche in that area of your life. Don't be living your life as if to say you're only physical. You're not only physical. You're not only emotional. You're also spiritual, and you're also social. And so you've got to know that there are four foundational principles whereby you and I have got to be mindful of. If I only pay attention to my physical needs, then I'll not make it for too far. If I'm only paying attention to my social needs, I won't make it for too far. But if I'm paying attention to my social needs, my physical needs, my spiritual needs, which many persons are not paying attention to, and my psychological needs, which most of us men are hiding away from. Hence we will not be bold enough to say, hey, you know what, I've been struggling with anger, I've been struggling with an addiction, I've been struggling with low self-esteem, I've been struggling with all these pieces. If I am not aware enough that I need help with these things and go and get that professional help, then I'm going to tell you right now that you are going to find it most difficult. So you want to find some balance in there, and you want to seek to find a spiritual life of some kind that you can find a space to empty out yourselves. A lot of us as guys, a lot of men, when we're in that space, we're feeling overwhelmed. We think if we go and smoke a joint or smoke a spliff or get some marijuana or get some alcohol or go and find some girls somewhere and get into overindulgence of sexual activity, we feel that okay, it will go away. You may get a temporary relief, but guys, be honest with yourself. You know that the problem doesn't go away. You know that. You know that the problem doesn't go away. It's just a band-aid, really, that we're trying to put in on it. But if it keeps springing up in our lives again and again and again and again, something needs to change. And I'm saying we have to find that place where we are recognizing that and we're making the steps that we need to change that. So, guys, don't go away. We're going to continue our presentation. As I said, once again, this is XY Spark. This is a special Christmas edition. We hope that you'll continue to stay tuned as we continue the rest of our presentation. We will be back with you real soon. Well, welcome back to XY Spark Christmas Edition. We thank you for continuing to listen to our live broadcast here. We wanted to just remind you that on Saturday, December the 26th, Saturday, December 26th of 2020, we are going to be having a special guest. You cannot afford to miss this. We're going to be having a special guest this coming Saturday, December 26th, 2020 at 9 p.m. We're going to be having a special guest. Or rather, let me correct the time. It will be at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Okay, if you are listening in the UK, you are going to be hearing our live um, podcast. It's going to be happening around about 4 or 5 a.m. If you're in the UK, if you're in Eastern time, it's going to be around about 10. If you are in Pacific, it's going to be around about 7 p.m. But we are really, really excited to be sharing with you via XY Spark. And as we said, this is our special Christmas edition. We want to continue to announce our regular live podcast times. We are normally live twice a week. We're looking to increase that now. We are live twice a week. We come on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and we come on at 8 p.m. On Saturday nights Mountain Standard Time. And this Saturday night, we're going to be having our special guest. So please, you can't afford to miss it. And we'll be talking about healthy masculinity and Afrocentrism. You cannot afford to miss our special guest. Please mark it in your calendars. Come and join us. We also want to send a shout out to you if you've just joined our live studio. We thank you. We see you out there. Want to send a shout out to you. And if you have any questions, please feel free. The chat room is open. You can type any questions that you have. And for those who are joining us, where are you joining us from? If you don't mind just saying where you're joining us from, that would be great. You can just type it in the box so we can send a shout out to you. But we want to say thank you for being here with us on our Christmas edition of XY Spark. So we want to continue our presentation, and we want to continue to talk about physical needs. We mentioned earlier, we talked earlier about the higher needs, and now want to talk about the physical needs. Now, under physical needs, there are some valuable nuggets that are highlighted. The first physical need is recognizing the need for proper nutrition and water. Now, for many of us, we drink more coffee and more pop than we do water. We want to break away from that and recognize that the drinking water is so important. And as I'm saying that, believe it or not, right now I'm in studio here. I'm opening up my bottle of water and I'm trying to drink some even while I'm doing this podcast because I know how valuable water is. There's also the need for clean air and light. And right now I'm going to drink some of my water here because I want to practice what I preach, okay? Okay, great. There you go. That's good stuff. And so then we want to talk about the physical needs, guys. We're continuing to talk about the physical needs. We mentioned nutrition, water. Now we're talking about shelter and warmth. That's a huge physical need. And for this Christmas period, for those of us, we know there are a lot of men out there they don't have the warmth that some of us do. They don't have the shelter that some of us do. And we want to reach out and seek to see how we can support these men because there are people out there who they were probably in better positions than you or me, and life happened and they no longer have that. So we want to send a special Christmas shout out to even those who you may be listening to this. You may not have a home, you may not have the shelter, you may be feeling lonely. Listen, XY Sparks wants to say, hey, you know what, guys? We love you. We acknowledge you. Hang in there. Keep pressing. Find a good space to stay warm, guys, and we'll keep you in our thoughts continually. Okay? So, shelter and warmth. We also mentioned earlier we need clean air and light. Clean air and light. That's why it's important for us to seek to get outside as often as we can, breathing that fresh air as often as we can, so that our lungs can get excited and our bodies can get those messages that, hey, I'm going to be okay. I just get some fresh oxygen. This is great. Another physical need that we have is the need for safety and security. Everybody wants to feel safe and everybody wants to feel secure. And so we want to practice and recognize a need for safety and security. And that is a physical need. That's a huge piece. Wherever we go, as we look around us, we can't ignore the reality of that. Another physical need that's important is a need for of protection from threats to health. That's a physical need. We want to protect ourselves from threats to health. And so we want to be very mindful and recognize that this is your responsibility and my responsibility to protect myself from threats to health. Hence, the importance of what we mentioned earlier, nutrition and water, and knowing, recognizing what we eat, and all these pieces are valuable assets for us to learn. Another big physical need that we have is the need for exercise and mobility. And I want to acknowledge even those who have been tuning into Excellence Park. You may have mobility issues, and we want to say to you that we appreciate your determination and your continued effort to continue to work on getting the job done in spite of the shortcomings or difficulties that you may have because you may have some mobility issues. Because for the mere fact that you are still going about your day to day, or you're still getting things done, maybe not at the pace that you used to, it's a huge show of strength. It's a huge show of resilience. It's a huge show of determination, and I want to acknowledge you for doing that. But that's the physical need that we all have, the need for exercise and mobility. Another physical need that we have, which is huge, is we have the need for rest, de stressing, and sleep. You love that one. I love that one. We have that physical need, a need for rest, de stressing, and sleep. We want to make some time to do that, and we want to make that happen, because if we are neglecting rest, if we're not de stressing, if we're not sleeping, then those physical needs, when they're not being met, you're talking about someone who is more grumpy, someone who's more frustrated, someone who's lost their sense of humor, someone who gets angry quicker, someone who's not problem solving or working on proper conflict resolution techniques, someone who is just have some really out of this world thinking, someone whose reasonability is not where it's supposed to be. So we want to recognize the value, guys, of rest, de-stressing, and sleep. Here's another physical need that we have: the need for sexual needs. This is another physical need that we have: sexual needs. And we can't ignore how important this is. We as human beings, we naturally have that desire where we want our sexual needs to be met. But how it becomes problematic is the sexual needs is something that it's like it's a dime. It's a dime a dozen now. You can find it anywhere and everywhere. And what we're not recognizing is that each time we get into a sexual encounter with somebody else, we would have invested our emotions to a point where now it's like we're stretching so many different directions. So if we're going to get our sexual needs met, we want to seek to make sure that we're doing it that's with someone who understands the value of that. We want to make sure that we're doing that with someone who knows how to treasure that versus taking advantage of that. So we want to pay attention to that. Another big physical need that we have is sexual needs, but sexual needs need to be met among two persons who are trusting, who are loving, who are committed, who are recognizing that I'm doing this with you, or I'm expressing this with you because I feel that I can trust you to take good care of my needs. So that's another big piece of sort of physical needs. And then there is another physical need is a need for touch. Yes, that is a physical need, a need for touch. And I spoke about this book the other day. I'm going to mention it again, and that is the book, The Five Love Languages. And in it, one of the language of love is touch. And so we want to recognize that, and we want to make the effort to see that of a fact a big physical need that we have is a need for touch, and touching is important in so many relationships. It's far more important in some relationships even than the sexual needs, because the touch is what validates. It's what brings comfort. It's what brings reassurance. It's what sometimes say, hey, don't worry about it, we can make it, we can do it. And so, guys, I am going to pause here now with our presentation. Just wanted to connect with you in this special Christmas edition. We also wanted to continue our presentations as we seek to empower men. I also wanted to bring to your attention that this coming Sunday on the 27th of December, we are going to be having a special Zoom meeting live where men can come into the room and just talk. If you want to be a part of this, just email us, hyman@xyspark.info. That's hyman@xyspark.info. And once you email us, and the email that you send us from is uh, a credible or a valid email, we will send you a link. And we're going to see how many men we can bring into the room this coming Sunday, December the 27th, 2020, at 2 p.m. Let's all gather together as men and let's just talk and let's just interact and let's see how we can empower each other. I wanted to send a huge shout out to you. If you've been following X5 Spark, we appreciate you. We continue to encourage you to like any of our podcasts you like, you share. Any questions you have, you can email us. You can also find our motivational speeches on YouTube. You look XY Spark on YouTube, you'll see a lot of our motivational videos. You'll hear some of our podcasts there as well. And guys, we just want to say we value your support. And so, Merry Christmas again, guys, and a Happy New Year when it comes. And we look forward to have you again joining us for another live broadcast tomorrow night at 8 p.m. You cannot afford to miss it. Tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Join us again when XY Spark will have another interesting presentation where we'll have a guest who's going to be coming on. We're going to be talking about healthy masculinity and Afrocentrism. Guys, thank you so much. You stay safe, stay good, stay healthy. Okay, keep your chin up. And as usual, this is Rolando saying peace out until we talk again.
Please join Rolando next time on XY Spark as he engages us in practical discussions that promotes healthy masculinity and challenge men to live extraordinary lives. At XY Spark, we believe the key for happier families is restoring healthy masculinity.